mapaliwanagan ang mga obligasyon bilang isang sponsor na nais tumulong sa isang intending immigrant o taong pinipetisyon, panoorin po natin ang kaso ni Melanie.
Melanie met Jeff through the internet and both started a romantic relationship. Jeff is a U.S. citizen and visited Melanie in the Philippines. They fell in love and got married in the Philippines. Jeff returned to the United States and petitioned Melanie. When the petition was approved, Jeff executed an affidavit of support and submitted it as part of the documents of Melanie's visa application. Melanie arrived in the United States after processing her visa at the U.S. Embassy. She was met by Jeff at the airport, but Jeff dropped off Melanie at his cousin's home. Melanie discovered that Jeff is living with his new girlfriend.
Sino
No
to?
one. There is no one. You know what? I don't love you anymore, okay? Okay?
And had no intention to live with Melanie. Melanie filed for divorce and asked the court for Jeff to pay her spousal support. Will Melanie be able to get spousal support even if she just arrived in the United States? What will now happen to Melanie?
Ang sagot sa iyong tanong ay nangangailangan ng sapat na impormasyon hinggil sa obligasyon ng isang sponsor. Nag-iiba ang mga patakaran sa Affidavit of Support mula pa noong 1996. Ang Form I-864 na pirmado ng sponsor ay isang legal na kontratang maaaring ipatupad. Ito ang mga obligasyon ng isang sponsor. Siguraduhin na may annual income o taon-ng kita na hindi bababa sa 125% ng Federal Poverty Guidelines. Bayaran o ibalik sa gobyerno ang anumang naibigay o nagastos sa imigrante na nag-apply at nabigyan ng means-tested benefit o benepisyo mula sa federal or state government. Ipagbigay alam sa USCIS ang bagong address sa loob ng 30 days. Sumang-ayon na humarap sa state or federal court kung hingin ng isang imigrante na ipatupad ang mga obligasyon ng sponsor na nagbigay at pumirma ng Affidavit of Support. In the case of Melanie, Jeff's Affidavit of Support is legally enforceable. That means that he is obligated to ensure that Melanie has an income or is receiving at least 125% of the poverty income level. The poverty guideline for the year 2018 for a family of two is $20,575 annually to Melanie. So Jeff must be able to provide that amount as part of the contract or affidavit of support he signed. If he does not provide that support and Melanie applies for government assistance, the government may seek reimbursement from Jeff in an enforcement action that may be filed. The divorce judgment or even a premarital agreement or prenuptial waiving support will not have an effect on the sponsor's obligation to provide the support under the federal law. This is clearly stated under the law and is even mentioned in the form signed by the sponsor. When will these obligations end? As follows. Your obligations under Form I-864 will end if the person who becomes a permanent resident, number one, becomes a U.S. citizen, or has work or can be credited with 40 quarters of coverage under the Social Security Act, or no longer has lawful permanent resident status and has departed the United States, or he becomes subject to removal but applies for and obtains in removal proceedings a new grant of adjustment of status based on a new affidavit of support if one is required, or if he dies. Just after the bullet points, the form states, note that divorce does not terminate your obligations under Form I-864. Thus, under federal law, neither a divorce judgment nor a prenuptial agreement may terminate an obligation of support. There is a continuing obligation to support Melanie. Jeff's obligation will only terminate if any of those mentioned circumstances occur. If Melanie is already working and is receiving more than 125% of the poverty income level, Jeff will no longer be asked to support her. The policy behind an affidavit of support is to ensure that the person who was petitioned is not going to be a public charge, and if she is earning, she does not need any support from her sponsor. Sa mga nag-aaway o nagdi-divorce na mag-asawa, kalimitan ang nagiging issue ay ang affidavit of support. Susunod nating mapapanood ang kaso ni Jonas na kahit na may affidavit of support ay na-deny pa rin ang visa. Huwag kayong aalis, magbabalik po ang Pusong Pinoy sa Amerika.